I love some of the questions that are coming in constantly from people that they'd like us to cover on the video blog. And this is one of my favorite ones that came in. And I just love it because it's such a sensitive topic and it's something that we're all gonna have to deal with or have dealt with. And that is, when or how do I decide when it's time for my dog to go over to the Rainbow Bridge, as many people refer to it? And I want to be sensitive, first of all, to those of you who've already gone through this experience. I've gone through it too many times because I've had dogs for almost 30 years now. And there was one particular incident where one of my dogs passed away suddenly. Actually, she was going through a routine spay and she never woke up from the anesthesia. And we always know that there are risks with anesthesia, and we have to sign that paper, you know, when we go into the vet and they want to do blood work to make sure that they're healthy enough to go under anesthesia. And we didn't do that with her, and this was a long time ago, and she never woke up from the anesthesia. We don't know why. It's the only time it ever happened to my veterinarian. I felt so bad for him. But I got the phone call, and of course, I didn't even think, you know, when she went out that door that day to get spayed, that anything would ever happen. But I collapsed. I just sobbed and sobbed, and it was weeks and months before I could stop thinking about it. Everything in the house reminded me of her. I'd take off my shoe and find one of her hairs in my shoe or on my socks, or where she used to sleep. There was just so many things that reminded me of her. So I wrote one of our blogs, and it is entitled, Will My Dog Go to Heaven? And at the time, I'd been reading some information written by a gentleman, and it was just so great. Nobody had ever really tackled this subject before, and being a spiritual person like I am, I was really curious about what he had to say. And I kind of took some of the information he had and added some of my own thoughts and really put it in my own words and made it personal for me. And if you'd like to read through that, please do. It's just on our blogs, on our website. And I hope that it gives you some comfort. And it was a really good thing for me to go through and feel comforted after she was gone. But for those of you who dread that time, there's a couple of things that I would say to you, because I found myself in that situation trying to say, you know, what is the thing that is going to be the deciding factor that I'm going to make the decision for my dog to send them to heaven? And one of those things primarily is, what is the quality of life for that dog at that particular time? And the reason this is so important is because dogs, first of all, can't talk to us. So there's so much we don't know. So if you're seeing something you visibly know is making them uncomfortable, and there's nothing that surgery or any medication can do to calm that, you do need to think about the fact that you may be keeping that dog around for your own emotional reasons, but not for the best interest of your dog. So think about those type of things. When the dog becomes incontinent as well is a sign for me when they can't take themselves out and they're soiling their bed, not just because it's something that is inconvenient for me, but for a dog to soil its den or its bed is just terrible for them. They hate that. It just goes against everything in their nature. So that's one of the things. Also, if you know there's pain and they're limping or, God forbid, whining and crying, that is a sign. There are times where a veterinarian may be able to advise you as to when is the right time, as they're able to perhaps look inside and see what's going on. And from what we know about past history of those kind of situations, or what humans experience in those situations, because dogs and humans we're similar in a lot of ways, and we realize that when you see the medications that you get sometimes from your veterinarian are the same things that we take, but not everything. So always check with your veterinarian before using anything at home for a home remedy. If it has to do with a medication, like don't give naproxen sodium or leave, ibuprofen, things like that, you want to check with your veterinarian. So those are just a couple ways to narrow down when is the time to send your dog on that trip to the Rainbow Bridge. If you all have any more questions about it, any comments, please email us at bestinshow@emlabradors.com. Or if you go to Endless Mountain Labradors, that's endless and then empty period Labradors on Facebook, you can private message us with any comments, concerns, or anything you'd like us to cover on this video blog. I hope this has been helpful for you somewhat, and my condolences to any of you who are dealing with this right now or have gone through it. It is very difficult. But thanks for hanging in there. Thank you for whoever asked to cover this topic, and God bless you all and your furry friends. Thank you.